are back with the final card of the card series. I am using this beautiful kaleidoscope background from Simon Says Stamp. This has got to be my favorite, absolute favorite background stamp. I am using some watercolor paper and I'm just setting it down into my MISTI. I have not pushed it all the way down yet because I'm just trying to make sure that I have it lined up perfectly with my background stamp. And now I'm going to go ahead and press it into my MISTI, and it's being held just with some temporary adhesive. Now I'm going to heat emboss this today, so I'm using some Versamark. And what is so cool about this background stamp is that there is a little piece that fits in the middle if you want to stamp it all together, or you can remove the middle piece and just stamp around the outside. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm just going to be stamping around the outside, and I'm really getting heavy-handed with my Versamark because I want to make sure I get all of those beautiful lines. So I'm going to go ahead and close my lid, and I'm really going to give this a good workout and pressing to make sure I get those lines. Now since that's done, I'm going to gently lift this off and move this out of the way. And we're going to use some beautiful gold embossing powder today. Now this embossing powder is from Ranger, and this one is called Princess Gold. Now this might come to be my second favorite gold embossing powder. You guys have seen me use the Judigids brand, but this one is absolutely so pretty as well. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle that all over my card panel. Now this started out as a 6x6 inch square. Now I'm going to be cutting this down a little bit later, but I just wanted to make sure I started off with a large enough piece that I had the opportunity to cut this down a little bit later. So I'm going to make sure I get a good amount of this embossing powder on there, and then I can go ahead and pour that back into the jar. Now using a piece of paper, or in this case I used a coffee filter, is a great way to make sure that you can pour all that beautiful embossing powder right back into those tiny little jars. Now since I have all of the embossing powder on there, I'm just going to tap off any stray bits. I didn't have much left over. And now I'm going to grab a paintbrush. And this paintbrush is going to help me get rid of any of those pesky little bits that are sitting around that should not be on the card panel, because I totally forgot to use my anti-static tool before I put down the embossing powder. So I'm just going to clean that up, and then I can go ahead and start heat setting this beautiful background. Now as you can see, as I heat emboss it, you can see just how gorgeous that gold is and how beautiful the design is. It's absolutely stunning. Now since everything is totally dry, I'm going to use some Brusho on this, and this color is Scarlet. Now I'm just going to tap this all the way around this beautiful card panel. And this is just some beautiful powder that has all these different colors and shades in it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now all I need to do is spritz this with some water, and then the magic happens. Look how gorgeous this is. And look, I didn't have to color in every single little bits of squares of this. The Brusho does the magic for me. Now I will link to a card where I have used Brusho or a very similar product called Color Burst before, and you will see how beautiful the backgrounds turn out with using this kind of product. I'm just going to tap on a little bit more just to make sure I have good coverage, and then I'm going to spritz it with water. Now you can build up this color to get it to be very dark. In my case, I just want this to be a very light background. So I just let it sit for a little bit, and then I'm going to come back in with a paper towel and dab up some of that water. Now as you can see, it's not as vibrant red as it was in the beginning. As you can see, a lot of that came up with the paper towel. Now you can build up the color, like I said, to get it more vibrant. I just want this to be a very soft background because I really want to see the detail of that gold embossing powder. So I'm going to heat everything up to make sure it's thoroughly dried. And look how gorgeous this is. It's absolutely stunning. So now, since everything's totally dry, I don't want to really melt back into that embossing powder. This looks gorgeous. Look how beautiful that is. Okay, this is now ready for a card. I went ahead and trimmed this down so it would fit onto a standard A2 card. Now I'm using double-sided tape on this because it is watercolor paper and I did not want this to bow. So I'm going to make sure that this stays nice and flat on my card panel. Now, off camera, I went ahead and cut off a circle and I heat embossed the word joy from the stained glass stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, and I did emboss that in the same gold embossing powder. I'm going to pop that up with some foam tape and we're going to place that down right in the center of the card. Look how beautiful this is. It is such a gorgeous, simple card to make. Now, since that's done, of course, I could not do this card without having a few pieces of sequins. So I'm going to grab just some gold, just so it matches perfectly with all the beautiful gold that we already have on this card. I'm just going to grab my multi-matte medium, and I'm not going to go heavy-handed with the sequins on this card because I really want the background to be my focal point on this one. You could totally rock this background in any color, non-traditional Christmas colors or Christmas colors. I just think this background stamp lends itself to so many possibilities. Okay, you guys, that is it. This is card number 6. This is the end of the 2017 card series. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this year. If you missed the cards 1 through 5, I hope you guys will check it out. Here is the card, totally complete. Thank you guys once again for hanging out with me. Here is a peek at the card in all its glories. I will see you guys in another video soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.